Good evening, everybody, and you're very welcome to our live podcast here on a Thursday night, 8 p.m. UK time. And wherever you're listening to this one or watching, as the case may be, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, Getter, anyway, you're all very welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I always like to thank those who obviously watch and listen on replay as well. So as I say, wherever you are, thanks for being here. And this is always my favorite time of the week, actually, because I have the absolute pleasure of having all my special guests in the studio with me, which means I don't have to talk as much, which probably comes as a relief to everybody. But anyway, look, we have a tremendous amount of stuff to get through. We really have, because one of the things in the podcast that strikes me is that between 1 week and the next week, so much stuff happens. You know what I mean? It's like there's never a quiet week. There really isn't a quiet week. And since we were here last week, we had the sadness of Sir Keir Starmer exiting stage left, along with Rachel Reeves and a few others we'll talk about. We've had the advent of a new hi Lynn, a new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham. So we've had all that kind of stuff, and it's been super exciting. And can I welcome Paddy as well to the stream? I see you there, Paddy. I've got Adrian here, and hopefully Grantonio will be joining us as well. So so thanks everyone for being here. So I think what we'll do is we'll start off with a word from our sponsor. Yeah, we've got a new sponsor to the show. It's Andy Burnham. And I've got a couple of clips I want to play, first of all. Hi, Harry there. Good to see you, Harry Johnson. Dilligaff, over on X, etc. Thanks for being here. Can we play, Jed, a couple of exciting announcements from Andy Burnham, our sponsor? Play the first one, Jed.
People said it's not possible to reduce bus fares. Well, we showed everybody in Greater Manchester that it is possible. And today I'm taking the £2 fare cap national. Who better, though, to kind of endorse this policy than a special guest?
Oh, Prime Minister, you're stealing my job.
Cheaper bus fares, endorsed by Bus Auntie herself.
It's a fantastic idea. Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
What? Bus Auntie? For those watching, yeah? Bus Auntie? Seriously? And if you think that was bad, Jed, let's get the torture over. Play the second clip, please, of Andy. Yeah.
Already know about me. I go to a lot of gigs. I do like a pint. And I have been known to give a DJ set from time to time. Well, today's announcement is very close to my heart. I'm giving thousands of pubs, clubs and music venues a 20% cut in their business rates. These places deserve my support, our support, and they're getting it. So maybe I should do another DJ set soon to celebrate. Cheers and have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andy. That's really well, everyone. Are you as excited about me? Apparently, the bus fares are coming down, are being capped at only £2. And good news. Cheers all around. Everyone's going to have a pint on Andy because he's brought down he's got 20% cut in the business rates of pubs, clubs, and live venues. So, Jed, I'll start with you. I bet you're really excited about this.
I'm over the moon, David. Of course I am. I'm just trying to think when I last caught a bus. Right. Just let
you elitist.
A second to think. It's probably about 1990. Give or take a month. I mean, the thing is, he's not bringing bus fares down, is he? We know it's a lie. Because all he's going to do is tax us to pay for the bus fares.
Well, he's subsidising them, is it? Well,
that's it. No, you see, what subsidise means is we're paying for it in our taxes.
That's right. Yeah. It does mean that. Yeah. And actually, Jed, the other thing is he seems to have forgotten the government that put it up to £3. Can we remember what that government? Oh yeah.
Might not be a Labour government.
Yeah, Keir Starmer, 2025. Yeah. So that was very exciting. And then the pubs and clubs, they're getting a 20% in their business rates from next April 2027, leaving out restaurants, hotels, which as far as I know is where people go as well to have a good time. But, again, all unfunded, all just crowd pleasers, basically,
It's not unfunded, David. It's funded by me, you, not Paddy, Adrian, and everybody else. I could say Harry, I could say Lynn, I could say
Joel.
What? Sorry,
Joel. Yeah.
So we're all funding it, David. There is nothing in this life that is free.
Yeah, well, that's true. Adrian, are you
hers not free anymore, is it? Yeah, because I have to pay for the stuff that my car throws out of the tailpipe.
Yeah, no.
You are really in a bad way in that department starting this week.
Oh well,
Paddy? Go on, tell us, buddy.
Yeah, tell us why, Paddy. Why were
your sweet and wonderful energy secretary? She's just a peach.
Miatta.
We have the best, Paddy. We have the best.
She's just a peach. She hates that. She's a climate fanatic who believes the climate in the world can be saved through DEI and no gas.
Yeah. She actually hopes to spend as much on green environmentalism as we do on defence. Miatta Funbula, who was the number 2 to Ed Miliband. Oh, Paddy, you shouldn't be. You're in for a shocker because Ed Miliband, the swivel-eyed lunatic in charge of green energy up until this point, he's our new foreign secretary. He'll be heading over to see you guys in DC.
Trump is waiting with bated breath, shaking in his boots.
Can you imagine the laughs? The laughs in the White House when Miliband comes in.
That's a press conference I want to see televised. That's one of the ones I want him to do live.
I want Trump to do the handshake, Paddy. The really crucifyingly strong handshake. Break his hand. Ideally, that would be pretty good. But
just to butt in, I know this really isn't my billywhack. It's you guys today. Just butt in. I was going over and reading all this, getting caught up on all this today, and let's see. So he's cutting taxes for pubs, live small live venues, and another hospitality, but not on restaurants, not on hotels, none of that crap. But he's cutting this, he's capping the bus rate and everything. He's going to tax the hell out of the vape shops. So it's that, and there ain't enough vape shops. I don't care how many, if there's one on every corner. So that means he's going to tax a whole bunch of every other small business. Plus, you have an energy secretary who's not going to allow you to do even finish the pre-approved permits for the North Field. You have no energy of your own, which means you'll have to buy from either Russia or us.
Yeah, but Paddy, apart from that, it's perfect. It couldn't be better.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like just watching. It's their dancing fairies on the head of a pin, not even angels, fairies.
Right. Adrian, I'm bringing Adrian in. Adrian, you heard Andy Burnham with those exciting, and he makes them at 6 a.m. every morning. He obviously records a video the night before, whacks it out at 6 a.m. So what's your thoughts on capping the bus fares at £2 and cut in business rates for pubs and clubs from next April? What do you think?
I'm so glad we sacrificed Keir Starmer just to get a £2 bus fare. That was well worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. Who uses the buses?
That's Jet.
Bus drivers.
Yeah. Right. So pensioners,
migrants,
they get free. Yeah, exactly, Paddy. So they get free bus passes. The pensioners, anyway. Kids use them going to school, and they get subsidised transport. But during the day, you do get people maybe the massive cities like London using them to and from work. But apart from that, most people are in their cars. So it's not really a program that's going to benefit much of the UK. The program there is going to reduce VAT rates. Again, that's not kicking into next April. So they have 9 months to wait before they're getting any kind of help. This is all smoke and mirrors to make it look, week one, I'm coming in and tackling the issues. You're not. You're tackling issues that really do not impact us that much. There are a lot more important issues that need to be dealt with that you should be tackling first and foremost. But this is to try and try and impress people. Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. You're not. You're doing the least things that matter the most in the UK right now. If you really wanted to do something that was going to really impact us, sink every one of those dinghies.
So the thing is that on the 20% cut in business rates, I was reading about a pub and they have had a 2,000% increase in their business rates from April of this year, because that's what one of the things that Rachel Reeves done. If you remember, she restructured the rating valuation. So they're having a 2,000% increase on the rates that they pay. But don't worry, Andy's given them a 20% cut, as you point out, from next April. So this is all smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, and here's the challenge: it's populism. It is populism. Nigel Farage has portrayed himself as man of the people, down the pub. Andy's down the pub now, Jed, as well. Hasn't Farage?
Oh yeah, no, Andy's down the pub in his trainers, and his jeans with his jacket and a t-shirt or whatever it happens to be. But the bottom line is the popularity of him is now at rock bottom. But the media, as I've seen over this week, have been going, oh, look, Reform's leader's been cut by half, or Reform is now behind, so on and so forth. And, it's utter balderdash to put it politely. The thing is, one of the cuts he's done, and I don't know what it is, and I'm sure somebody will enlighten me, but it means you're going to save £45 per year. That's about 99p per week. Per week. Wow, I spend more than that on coffee, or as Americans would say, coffee. But but the bottom line is, what he really needs to do is put his hand in his pockets, start spending on defence, and buy 700 million guns from Paddy, so we can defend ourselves for a change.
Okay,
I got it in.
We'll cut him a good deal.
Well, we'll talk about. We're going to be talking about the States, Paddy. But I mean, the thing is that what worries me about Burnham is he is different to. Starmer. I take it nobody's missing Starmer at this point.
It's not going to last, though, David. That's my point, because the policies are still as disastrous as Starmer's were. And just before I hand back to you, could I just say, guys, if you want to support the show, this show is really sponsored by David. If you want to support the show, then sponsor David by buying him a coffee. Link on screen right now. Go there, give us your money. As Bob Geldof said,
give us
your effing money.
Give us your bleeping money. Exactly. But the thing that there's several things about this. Like Burnham, the theory goes, here's a theory that is doing the rounds amongst the commentariat, and that is that Team Burnham thought that they were going to have a deal done with Starmer. Starmer would stay in office until the end of August, and then you have the Labour Party conference. And they thought that they had, July and August to basically get themselves organised and get their policies in place. But what Starmer did was Starmer basically pulled his head back and said, right, that's it. I'm off. Hi, Matt, all the way in New Zealand.
It's the only good decision he made.
It is, Paddy. He's actually shafted Burnham. And therefore, Team Burnham are doing these like daily announcements. And it's all small beer. Somebody pointed out, if you look at the top 10 issues for the British people, believe you me, bus fares was not the top 10. Business rates.
It was part of my top 10, David.
Right.
Like I say, the last time I caught a bus was,
Well, Jed, you're lucky. I don't even have a bus route. I cannot.
Well, I know where you live. I know where you live.
Yeah.
And rightly so, David, because you live in a very nice place and you can afford a nice car to drive there.
Yeah, but still no. But Andy's cap doesn't help me, But the thing is that I think he's going to have a honeymoon because the BBC are so excited. Oh my God, Adrian, the BBC are in heaven that they've got Andy now in Downing Street, and there's no critical questions. Well, he won't take any questions from anyone, Adrian. Apparently, apart from Gary Lineker. Did you say that?
This is the second coming You know, remember when he was being sworn in Parliament, they said the savior of Rome, you know.
Yeah.
Again, look at what he's done. He's got rid of Keir Starmer's cabinet to try and appease people, to try and appease the British public, to make it look as if, okay, I'm getting rid of that lot who you don't like, and I'm going to bring in new people, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other. The reality is they're not going to do anything at all on the main issues that we really need.
That's right. Yeah.
Main issue, migration. I don't care what anybody says. That is the number one main issue this country is facing. Okay, he's talking about drilling in the North Sea again. Yep, great. That is good because we need to generate revenue because we are bleeding money hand over fist. And whilst we're then subsidising, pardon me, bus fares and things like that, you know, again, smoke and mirrors. And when you say he's shafting people, well, he shafted Keir Starmer. Well, it makes a change from Ukrainian Red Boys, doesn't it? You know, allegedly, yeah.
Be careful.
Because
be careful, Adrian.
Random people go around setting your house and your cars on fire for no reason, you know, allegedly.
It was the Russians that sent him, Adrian, apparently. Putin.
So,
Putin himself, I heard.
Yes, I heard Putin was spotted in northwest London at 5 a.m. with a match in one hand and kerosene in the other. I heard that. I heard that rumor. But
do we really believe that he is going to open the North Sea up properly? Because I don't think so.
Look at who he appointed as energy secretary. There's your answer for that.
It's all just smoke and mirrors from this man to try and make people believe that he is going to tackle these issues when the reality is he's just going to keep driving nails into the coffin.
A warm welcome to Northern Monkey as well. Hey up. I suppose we all should really try to do our Manchester. This where
don't go there, David.
Grantonio, where's Grantonio and his accents? That's what I want to know.
He's absent. He's absent.
He's gone without permission, I have to say. And he did indicate earlier that he gave a thumbs up when he got the link. So I don't know. Maybe he's been kidnapped by the Russians, actually. But Paddy, just to what you said, this lady Miatta Funbula. It's not a name people are very familiar with just yet, but my God, they will be because she's a full-on, out-and-out, actually daughter of a senior Liberian politician who works.
She's a loon.
She's worse than that.
She's a loon, and she's a climate loon with power now in charge of your. And she's a priestess of the climate church,
and that's why. Paddy, that's to what Adrian was saying. I don't believe that there will be any new licenses granted to drill.
Oh no, and any ones that are that are supposed to be going through right now are going to be canceled because there's a couple already in the pipeline. Guarantee they don't ever make it through the pipeline.
Totally. I agree with Kevin here, by the way. Kevin says in this over an X, he says, if he gives enough over the next couple of months, he might call an election and scrape a win. Jed, what do you think to that? You know, if you kept it short enough. I don't know,
because I do think actually the public are savvy enough now, having 2 years of Starmer, whatever it was, and all they've done. I mean, look who he's brought back. He's brought your favourite lady back, actually, David.
Angela Rayner, yeah,
and Rayner, who allegedly doesn't pay her tax for.
She was cleared. She was super duper cleared.
Yes, of course she was. Yeah, so that's funny that because I wouldn't have got cleared, would I?
Can I ask a question about her?
Payback that she got.
Paddy, what's your question?
I wanted to say, is this the same woman who just got her end of her pension payout last September?
She got compensated. Yeah, Paddy. She got 17,000
severance pay. She got her severance pay. Yeah, and she's refusing to pay it back. Yeah, so,
there's no way she's paying it back. I'll tell you what's more, Jed and Adrian. Apparently, Rayner, Lucy Powell, and that was the third one. 3 northern ones. Anyway, they're
like the 3 witches of Eastwick.
It is, Jed. They're all going to work from number 10 north in Manchester. Number 10 north. So,
my God, no.
Honest to God,
David, don't.
Number 10 north isn't even built yet.
Good day I've had today into a bad day.
I know you've had a good day, Jed. I've seen that. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Sorry, Adrian, what were you saying there?
But number 10 North isn't built yet. So are they planning to be in power now for the next 7 years? Because we know what government's like trying to fund these projects. Look at HSW and
they have a building, Adrian. They're occupying an existing building. And apparently Rayner and Powell and the other one are all going to work from there. So Jed, the way we've talked about the fact that we try the civil service. Half the civil service don't even bother going into the office; they're all working from home, and that's in quotation marks because we know that means they don't particularly work. But now, basically, Burnham saying, yeah, well, basically, Angela and Lucy and whatnot, they can they can basically do the same. They don't have to go to London. We're moving power. Is that not a good thing that they're moving power up to the north?
Up to the north. No, David. And the reason being is because moving power up north, yeah, would just cost me more money, wouldn't it? Because now we're going to have this building fitted out. It's going to have to be security cleared. It's going to have to have secret phone systems and computer systems installed. It's going to have to be guarded. So that's only going to cost us more money. Devolution does not save money. Devolution costs money. And in essence, that's what this is. It's devolution. And I hate it with a passion because anybody talks about moving something somewhere else just costs money. And it will bleed money. It will bleed civil servants. It will, and you're right. Half of the civil service are not working because they're working from home. David, I had one job where I did work from home, and I had a mouse shaker just so my laptop would stay alive. So I know what it's like. I didn't have much to do, and when I did, I just did it well. And I'm not bragging. But the point is, there you go. I think Northern Monkey's got it. Gravy. I appreciate the other comment you made, gravy train. And that's all it is. And it's trying to make people think, look, the center of power is in your neighborhood. It's not. And it never will be.
It's hope in every heart, and it's economic growth in every postcode. I mean, they've absolutely hammered that expression. And it's so fake. I mean, everything about Burnham is fake. But
can I just jump back in? Remember all those years we heard about the Northern Powerhouse?
Yeah.
Where is it? I want to go and visit it. Because if it's got power, I'll have some of it. It might be cheap.
Yeah.
I'm being quite facetious now, aren't I?
I know, but the thing is, you can't, and Jed, your point is absolutely spot on as well. All that Burnham's going to do is double the costs because they obviously still have to have the same level of security down in Downing Street and all around Parliament and all that. That doesn't change, and all they're doing is doubling it, basically.
And not just that, you're talking about high government officials. How are you going to encrypt all these locations? How are you going to provide communications and logistical security for because all these women are going to work from home. Most of these people, because like I said, there's nothing there. Even if there's one building, they got to you've got security networks that need to be set up for all this crap too.
Well, absolutely right.
We get to subsidise their houses, in London and now in Manchester as well. Fantastic.
Yes. I can't wait for this. Listen, honestly, I have nothing against Manchester, and if there's anyone from Manchester listening, but I got to be honest with you guys, I'm sick of Manchester already. Am I the only one? If I hear the word Manchesterism once more, you know what I mean? I'm sick of Manchester.
I'm sick of Manchester anyway, David, because where I used to live got brought under Greater Manchester, and it's not. It's Lancashire.
Back to what, I just want to go back to what Kevin said there about being able to scrape a win in the election. Do you reckon he'll call the election once he realizes he has enough uninvited guests in who are going to back him and help give him that majority?
I don't know. I mean,
because we know. Sorry to interrupt. From the last election, what did Labour get? About 4 million votes out of a possible 50 odd. So, and we know that system is quite rightly flawed, and Farage is trying to fight to change it. So do you think he'll wait until there's enough uninvited guests that he knows he will have a majority and get back in easy? Because otherwise, I don't think he'll shoot himself in the foot by calling an election early unless he's guaranteed to win.
Yeah. Can we have that as a segue, David, about Farage?
Let's go in. You mentioned Farage there. I'll do that. I'll set it up for you, Jen. So
that wasn't intentional, by the way.
Yeah. So obviously, we are going to talk about Farage more generally, but sometimes I think sometimes Farage, he's such an interesting character, and it doesn't always pay to mock him. And we've got, Jed, an example of someone, a female driver, Jed, if I'm right.
You're absolutely right. Would you like me to analyze the video, David?
Analyze it, please, professionally, Jed. Give us your
my professional. Well, I'll play it for all our listeners and viewers. This is one you've got to watch, guys. Okay, so if you're listening in, just get over so you can see the video. Here we go. You've lined it up.
Just send a couple of people over. Yeah.
She won't be doing that again.
We've got to play that one again because that is so funny. It really is. I'll try and rewind it if I can. There we go. And here we are.
Well, just send a couple of people over.
Okay,
she won't be doing that again.
So, Jen,
it's caused by people not paying attention to the road ahead and being distracted, having other distractions such as Farage is a W. Yeah, yes. And that lady's going to go up tonight and have to speak to her partner, her husband, her boyfriend, whatever it might be, and say, honey, I crashed the car. How did you do that? Well, it was like this. And he'll go, you're lying. And she said, no, it's on video.
It's on video. I mean, can you imagine the insurance claim against that one? She is so screwed in that one there. And she thought she was being smart, so that was delicious.
Explain that to the insurance company.
But as you said,
doing just prior to the crash? Well, I was calling Farage a W.
Did you see that one, Adrian? What did you think of that?
I did actually. I thought it was fantastic, and they say karma's a bitch,
Karma is a bitch, and I seen Lefty saying, "Oh, that's typical of reform supporters." Instead of inquiring about the woman's health, is she okay?
No. Look, yes, the book needs to be thrown at that woman because she was lucky that it was a car stopped at a red light. That could have been no car in front of her, and there could have been a pedestrian crossing the road, and she would have been straight into them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There is a more serious thought to that one. Being road safety expert as I am, absolutely. That is what you call a car crash.
It really is. It really was. There is. I think we all. Paddy, have you seen that one before? That video of her rear-ending?
No, that's beautiful. And like I said, thank God it wasn't a person, but that was beautiful.
Yeah, we always try to bring a wee bit of levity here to the show, and that was
that should have been and finally at the end. Should
have been, but it's still maybe we'll play it at the end because it's still.
Oh, we've got to.
How long before the excuse comes out that she was terrified by the far right terrorists standing at the side of the road and she couldn't concentrate and made her lose her bearings, and that's why she crashed.
She thought she was under attack. Yeah,
she was under attack from the far right. And she was trying to get away, but the lights turned and it stopped her. You can just imagine a human rights lawyer already getting sort of limbering up to see if he can get her off. But that was a golden moment from, I think, did it happen this morning? I've only seen it today, so
I've only seen it today. But you remember that program that used to show the outtakes?
Yeah.
That's one of those, isn't it? That would be on that sort of show.
It'll be all right on the night.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah, she was. It was catastrophically funny. That was good.
Personally, if I had been Farage, I would have went up to the car and give her the W sign and just started laughing, going, "Who's the W now?"
But just think though, right? When she contacts her insurance company and they say, so do you have dash cam footage of the accident?
Oh,
that will mean you won't have to pay your premium. And she says, no, but ITN's got it.
The internet's got it, Jen. She made herself famous because she's so hate driven and so triggered by Farage. I just want to welcome Grantonio, who joins us.
I'll bring him in. I didn't see him at the bottom. There we go. I'll bring him in. The team are back together.
Thanks, Jed. Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Grantonio. It's good to have you with us.
I've just come in at car crash, and it really was a car crash moment, wasn't it? Have you cracked all these jokes already? So sorry.
But I've done that one, mate.
Sorry, Jed. Sorry. Yeah, how come nobody got a picture of her? How come when she crashed the car, nobody ran towards her and filmed the stupid bitch?
Yeah.
I think they might have. I'm sure ITN would have run across with a camera or something like that. It was ITN, wasn't it?
Was it?
I'm sure they would have crossed for an interview. So why do you think Farage is a W? Well, he made me crash my car.
He made me crash my car. I think, we're kidding about it, but like whenever what you guys were just saying there, you could believe it. She says, well, I was driving along and I turned around and I saw Nazis. I saw a bunch of Nazis on the pavement and I was frightened for my life. And
You missed it, David. Yeah. I was heading in another direction when all of a sudden a Farage jumped out in front of me.
Yeah, you know what? There are people who blame Farage for everything that goes wrong in the world. There are those type of people. So, yeah, I mean, the poor person that she crashed into.
Oh, could you imagine? This is one. Like, you might that because I think I can't remember. Was there two cars in front of her at the lights?
No, there was just one.
Just one. So she went straight into the back of the car in front of her, which was stationary.
She went into a car, and then there was the van in front of that car that she went into. And I don't know from that video if that car that she hit.
The second one behind her. Shall we have another look?
Do it again.
I think there was a white van, but I don't know. If it was like a multiple and hit the white van as well.
Are you able to edit it with John Lennon's Instant Karma playing over it somewhere?
Jed, play the video and we'll all see it again.
Just send a couple of people out.
Yeah. She would be doing that again in a hurry.
Yeah, so there was a car, so the white van wasn't shunted. So the damage is going to be to the car in front, the grey car in front. And if we look at it, Jared, as you've got it on screen, does it look as if the door's opening there? Or
it does. So it's opening there. Let's take it back to the impact.
I wonder did the airbags go off and hit her a good blast in the face at like 90 mile an hour as well?
Well, it was.
It's a good job.
Look how far the first car moves forward. It might have hit the van as well. Let's look at the van. Instant replay. There's a little.
Hang on.
Yeah, she would be doing that again in a hurry.
For a second. That could have been a small child.
Well, you see, Antonio, that's the serious point that's been made, Antonio, that there could have been a baby in the back of that car.
Yeah, no, the second the black car hit the van. Watch it again.
The black car, the bags went off. The other two, they didn't.
The van moves forward, so that's two vehicles she's paying for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, life comes at you hard sometimes, So anyway,
it's a good job Sheila's Wheels isn't around anymore.
Oh, do you remember them, Sheila's Wheels? Yeah.
They had to disband. Have I just made up a word? They had to disband, whatever the word is, because of some EU legislation that didn't allow discrimination towards females.
Antonio, you're becoming very Trumpian. You're making up words which are better than the word.
They had to disband, and Sheila's Wheels was really good, but they had to get rid of it. This new guy, Burnham, maybe he'll bring it back. I don't know.
So it was fake news' fault. All fake news. Those guys in the back.
Right, we're going to move on a wee bit. So we've spent a lot of time on Andy Burnham, I think, Although, I mean, as I said, just to wrap the whole thing up.
That was a genuine car crash interview, wasn't it?
Hang on, I've cracked that joke already.
Sorry, I didn't hear that one. Sorry.
Well, you need to listen, Adrian. I've cracked it already.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Wait, hang on. I covered in here. So we have lost in the past week. We should pay tribute. Sir Keir, Rachel Reeves is gone. Lord Lamy has gone. I mean, there's been some serious losses. And I think I said this in one of my podcasts. There's a German word called Schadenfreude, which means you take pleasure from someone else's misery. Now, you shouldn't maybe actually do that. It's not a terribly Christian thing to do. But I have to say, I was so happy whenever Rachel Reeves was gotten rid of, when Lamy was gotten rid of, when Lord Hermer was gotten rid of, even though the people that are replacing them are going to be worse. But I was in the moment. Am I alone, or did any of you other guys at least a wry smile and thinking, "Yeah, good riddance"? What do you think? Yeah, Lord Harmer, John Daniel, yeah. Guys, what do you think?
If I can come in, it never. I don't get that level of satisfaction because I know that they're all going to go on to cushy jobs and book deals or places in the Lords. So I just wish there was more of a judgment on their policies. I've said that before.
Well, did you see that Rachel Reeves' sister Ellie is now the Attorney General? She's replaced Lord Hermer. So the most powerful legal
G-Line or CV2?
I don't know, Adrian, but I mean, she's on record, or off. She's made some very spicy comments as well, laughing at the whole sort of migration issue. Which actually, Jed, I wonder, have you been able to grab the image of the new super dinghies that
I have? Adrian sent it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jed, as you know, the one thing Andy Burnham doesn't want to talk about is the cross-channel migration. Maybe this is why. Adrian, tell us about this. This is the biggest dinghies ever now. Tell us what this is.
Yeah, well, I think maybe Andy's policy of cutting bus fares has maybe went on to the dinghies as well, and that's why there's so many people on this. It's cheaper for them to come across. There's apparently 165 on this dinghy, which is a hell of a lot more. Again, all seems to be men, no women, no children, until somebody dies. And then, of course, it'll be women and children have lost their lives crossing the channel. But that's 165 on one boat. You imagine, 5 of those a day? And there's nearly 1,000 people in one day.
Basically, that's a ferry load, isn't it? I mean, or it's getting there. If you had a ferry.
It's more than a bus load.
It's more than, it's several buses.
That's 3 bus loads there, Jed.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And they'll pay. Who's paying the £2 for them per fare?
See, to be honest, that's probably
you are
of an EasyJet flight from Belfast to London. 165 people.
That's right. Actually, Adrian, that's a very good point. When I get on the flights over to London, that is about the numbers, Adrian.
But isn't it strange that they'll pay £5,000, £10,000 to people smugglers to come in illegally, but not spend £200 on a flight to come in legally?
Comment.
If I was to go from France to wherever in a small dinghy, I'd find out about it. But the fact there's so many people on these giant dinghies, constantly, regularly coming back and forth, means that it's planned. It's meticulously planned, and there's an operation here to allow.
Yeah, it's called a military invasion.
Yes, it's almost like a military operation, invasion that's being allowed to happen.
And you see, the thing is that, Adrian, this image that we're all looking at there, Jed's on the screen, that's what the number one issue for British people, that the illegal invasion of Britain across the channel. That's it. And that is something that Stormer essentially tried to just play a lip service to for 2 years.
That's a 1,000 sex attacks waiting to happen. There you go.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
but there has to be a specific company that only makes those dinghies that size. So surely we know who is supplying this. Remember 2 weeks ago, the BBC was able to go and speak to the man who was the mastermind behind all these small boat crossings. Do you remember the Kurdish Iraqi person? So if the BBC can track him down, how come the government can't track this company down that's making boats this size?
Because they're military dinghies.
Well, Paddy, I was going to say, that size of a dinghy, for those of you who can see this, I mean, that is very... I can't imagine, Paddy, what reason would you want a dinghy that size? I mean, normally...
Troop movement. That's a troop movement. You know what? The British government's making those dinghies. That's who's making those dinghies. Or some government is.
Yeah.
There's private companies making that thing.
See, to be honest, it looks a bit crap. There's no in-house movie or bar or anything on it.
Adrian.
No stewardess.
I love
Titanic.
The deep cynicism on this podcast is truly wondrous.
You should know us by now, David. Of course, we're going to come off.
I love it. But it's why I enjoy it so much. Is there Wi-Fi? I mean, this is the question, Antonio. Do you think those poor people...
DINGY5.
There is no passport control, I can tell you that much.
No, there's not. No. But I mean, seriously though, like that's a huge dinghy numbers, and the numbers. There was bad weather, I understand, in the channel there, sort of April, May, June. The weather wasn't great, and that kept the numbers now down. But now the numbers are absolutely soaring. And
do you know what I find very, very interesting? Sorry to interrupt. We're always told that the English Channel is probably the most busiest shipping port in the world.
Of course, the dinghies.
Yeah. So how come none of these dinghies manage to get hit by none of these big super tankers or the ferries or anything like that? Because that is true. It is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. But yet there's never any accidents with these big, say ferries or super tankers or anything, or the Russian submarines that happen to be patrolling either.
So that's a very good point. Actually, I remember my friend. Some of you might remember. I used to do videos with a lady called Rebecca Butler, and Rebecca she did a lot of sailing from sort of Isle of Wight and all around there. And I remember she used to talk to me about the very fact that if you're crossing that channel, you got to be in constant contact with the authorities to make sure you get across safely. But these dinghies don't seem to have any problem. It's almost like
that's because they're military dinghies with navigational beacons and sounders and stuff. You think they're crossing without electronics? What's the drift rate through the channel? These things got full electronic package. You're not transporting. These aren't little cars coming from Cuba with balloons tied under them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Paddy. Yeah. It's kind of staggering, and it's even more staggering that the new Prime Minister doesn't want to talk about this issue. Apparently, he wants to talk about bus fares. So bus fares, he's prepared to act on in some curious way, but this kind of migration, not interesting.
Maybe so that they can afford to get the bus from Dover up to London, so they can claim their universal credit.
Yeah. I know.
This is the big issue of our time, I think. Legal and illegal.
No, I tell you what, the big issue is bloody homeless. That's what. No, sorry, joking.
Well, I mean, Andy Burnham made that his number.
He did. He managed to increase it.
That's kind of my point that I'm making. That there's all this stuff about buses and homeless people and all the rest of it, and the big issue of our time just gets completely forgotten. So Andy Burnham can come in with one or two policies, maybe about oil and Scottish oil or I don't know, bus fares or whatever. But it just means that for years and years and years, the big issue of our time gets ignored.
Yeah, but I think that's deliberate. I mean, I think this is where Adrian has a sort of a point that if you can bring enough uninvited guests over. And at 166 a pop over enough months, like that starts to become statistically significant in terms of the demographic base. And then those, because somebody said the point, they're obviously wanting to introduce what they talk about as safe routes into the UK. It's all about safe routes, you see. So it's like they do want to fast track these boats in. Do you know what I mean? It's not about stopping them. It's about how can we get them across the channel. Maybe they'll give them a Royal Navy escort. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? It's
they'll just send a ferry over for them. It's cheaper.
Well, the way they're successfully navigating the channel, I think we should be giving them commissions in the Royal Navy. Because they obviously can handle a boat pretty well. It's just a pity that we don't have any for them to use, isn't it?
Well, hey, listen, I want to move it on now. I want to move on to the Anne Widdecombe situation. And obviously we talked about it last week and I think the week before as well. And we're now in a status where a man has been charged by the counter-terrorism police. And he was in the Old Bailey, I think, yesterday. And from what we understand, and this is kind of horrific, really, but we understand that according to the official narrative, anyway, it was the guy. I think his name was Josh. Curry. Was it Joshua Curry? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drove all the way from Rotherham down to Anne's house in the in sort of the Dartmouth, the moors, and he walked through her door. Apparently, the door was unlocked. Right through the door, She was having her lunch in the kitchen. He hit her 21 times on the head with a hammer. It was all captured in CCTV, apparently, according to the police. And he took her wallet and he drove home. Am I the only one who finds that all strange?
Which one, David?
Jed, you see, look, that's brilliant timing. I also find this, I'm sorry, the guy on the right, that is a verified photograph of him, the alleged killer. But on the photo on the right, on the left of this is a still of him getting into his car. And I started to doubt that, to be honest, and think, well, nah, these are not the same men, folks. For those of you watching, it doesn't look the same person. I asked AI, is this the same person? I asked 2 different AIs. They both came back and said, no. Looking at this, it seems unlikely given the shape of the head and all the rest of it, it's the same person. And then I doubted myself, and I didn't think the one of him getting into the red Corsa was him. And then I saw there's another video doing the rounds of this guy speaking at some Marxist event, and he looks the same. So what do you guys think on this one? Is it curious or curious?
I think it's called conspiracy bait. It's where they put things out, allowing people like us to come up with conspiracies. So they go through all the photographs that they have of him and which one is the least representative of the chap that they've got, and they release that to the media, and it allows us to have these conversations. So I mean, that's my conspiracy about the conspirators. So I believe it is the same person, but I do think they're sat on 1,000 photographs of this person. Why have they released that one where he looks so different? Do you know what I mean? And I understand that the one
court drawing on this image
was from 2002 as well, I think. Not 2022 or something like that.
Yes.
Of the thousands of photos that they have of the guy with short hair, they could have used that one. But no, they went with the one where he's got the beard, the long hair, and the glasses. Stinks to me.
Is it just me, or does anybody think the one with the glasses and the long hair and the beard looks like he's just went from a woman to a man? You know, a trans kind of photo?
I have no idea. The only thing I would say is, if just Jed, on that photograph you've got up on the screen, if you look at the photo with the beard, is definitely him from 2022. That's verified. But the video image on the left, if you look at the hairline, he's older in the photo on the still from the video, but the hairline is so. Did he have a hair weave? I mean, you know, because
the hairline is wrong, but even the flowing is wrong.
Can I just make a very quick point? There was a video doing the rounds. It's fascinating. I'm going to try and articulate what's in the video because I'm not very good at articulating visual things. What happens is the police released, I think it was CCTV footage of his driveway. And what's interesting is, I think it was on GMTV or something like that, the camera pans, but the time signature pans with the zoom in. The time signature moves along with the pans and the zoom ins. So that was a time signature that was added after the footage was. The editors took the footage and added the time signature. So it does look very dodgy. That's been added. Why add a time signature after you've edited
it? But don't forget that photograph would have been supplied to those TV stations by MI5 or somebody like that, you know. And look at the picture. Do you remember Axel Rudabacana? They give us the picture of this Welsh choir boy, but then the photo in reality was something totally different.
That's Grantonio's point, really.
Yeah,
this is what they do. Like this photo Jed's brought up on the screen. Yeah, I think that's. That's the 2 images.
They could have used a photo of him from the past 6 months. They went for a photo from 2022 where he's got long hair, a beard, and glasses.
If there's CCTV, where's the video still of him entering the house? Where are the video images of his car on the motorway? You know, because we still haven't seen that. All we're being led to believe is this guy done a 500-mile one-way journey, decided to kill somebody, then just thought he would steal their wallet and drive back home again for a drink.
And Adrian, does he have a social media presence? You'd have thought with these sorts of things, there would have been people on X as we speak going, oh yeah, I knew the prick. I worked with him on this office, that office. Right. If any of us guys went missing, there'd be 1,000 people on X going, yeah, I knew this person. That I'm really, do you know what I mean? Or if we'd done something.
Not me. I don't know 1,000 people.
Okay, well, but I'm exaggerating. What I meant to say
1,000 people won't admit to knowing me.
What I meant to say was there'd be 999 people saying, yeah, I knew Grant. Yeah, he was this, he was that. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this guy, you're all missing the point. You're all missing the point. This guy's a cutout. This guy was programmed to do this. This is not an original thought in his head. This thought was planted in his head. He was set into motion. He was aimed like a gun. They set him off, and then he's the sacrificial lamb. This is a cutout. This is an operation.
But I want to say, I want to bring in what Daniel says. We know that Anne had very good quality cameras recording. You see, this is right. So the police apparently they have it all. Never mind. I take your point about the journey and all that, but they do have apparently, allegedly, the full footage inside her house as well as in the.
Sorry to interrupt. I get Paddy's point about being the sacrificial lamb. Yes, I believe he is the sacrificial lamb, but I do not believe he is the killer. Because if they had such good quality CCTV images, where's the still of him either leaving the house just before the killing or leaving just after, covered in blood?
Well, see, that's
if he hit her 21 times with a hammer, there's going to be blood splatter everywhere, and he's going to be covered in it. So where's those stills from the video images?
Well, maybe counter-terrorism police are still putting that together for the prosecution case, because obviously let's remember, this guy's innocent until he's found guilty, But I take your point, Adrian. People have said to me, listen, if you've hammered someone 21 times in 2 minutes, so just think that one, 2 minutes, 21 hammer blows.
So does this guy have a history of psychotic behavior, or having such a
find out he will?
You reckon, Jed? You reckon we'll?
I think we will. I think we'll find out that he has had psychotic. He's bipolar or whatever it might be. Whatever. So he never faces justice.
Because these people, surely, is it not what they say, that these people that go on to commit these types of crimes, that there was always building up to it, so they would have maybe killed animals or been, horrible to animals.
Flies and spiders.
What's that psychological disease? It's called leftism.
Yeah, but do you understand what I mean? So, as Grantonio said, how come there's nobody out going, yeah, I know this guy, he was really valiant when he was young and all this kind of stuff? We have nothing about this guy. All we are being told is it was him.
Well, Adrian, in the interest of full transparency, certain family members did comment that he was quiet and all of that. But to all of you have made the same point, and it's a fair enough point. You would think he had friends in particular.
Well, he looks like a school teacher, David, doesn't he? That looks like.
Hang on. Does he look like an introvert to you? The long hair, the glasses, and the sort of the wizardy beard. Just a thought. No, I'm being serious.
ZZ Top.
You mean an incel?
Top. Go on. He's an incel. Well, I don't know. He comes into work with hair like that, and I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
The thing is, though, I think we have to be careful, because asking questions about this is totally valid and absolutely fair enough. But I don't buy the fact that, as I've heard some people to me, yeah, but she's not actually dead, she's sitting.
Well, I would make the argument, see, if this wasn't Anne Widdecombe and this was just an ordinary pensioner who'd been bludgeoned to death in her own home, I guarantee you we would see the video images of him covered in blood, walking into her house, walking out of her house by now.
Possibly.
They would have been plastered all over the news.
Yeah.
Or buried. Like, you would not even have heard of the crime, or it would have been a minor mention if it was done by somebody like a trans. This is too high profile. This is a hit, and in my opinion, this was something. This guy, he will have a history, whether it's built for him by an intel agency or the fact that they look for people like this that can be used in these sort of circumstances. This was pointed like a gun.
I mean, I think, do we all agree that it was a political assassination?
Yes,
100%.
I believe that.
Paddy?
But
I said 100%. Yeah, that was that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This was a hit. This was not. This was an assassination. This was not a random act of lunacy.
So I might maybe being a bit too stupid here, but if you were planning on driving 500 miles one way to kill somebody, would you not put false number plates on your car so it's hard for you to be tracked and traced and all that kind of stuff, so they can't track your car straight away?
Yeah, but Adrian, never mind that. She wanted. Well, it's a fair enough question, but I mean, apparently, according to the story, he just drove straight into their drive, straight through the front door.
So if she had all this security equipment in the house because she was such a high-profile MP, surely she would have had some kind of like lock or ring doorbell so she could see who was at her door, rather than just anybody being able to walk in unchallenged.
Well, yeah, I mean, look,
too much about this.
I would walk 500 miles.
Well, it was 270 miles.
I'm not going to touch that one.
But do you understand what I mean? There's just too many logical seeming questions that just, when you put them all together, it just doesn't add up to a logical sequence of events.
Why the target? Why Anne Widdecombe? I mean, I can think of why. I could get, using my words carefully, Nigel Farage, but like a little old lady, and I could get Trump. I could get why people are so incensed by these people. I mean, I like these people, but I'm just trying to use my words carefully. Why a harmless elderly lady whose views aren't particularly controversial? I mean,
was she a politician or an academic? What was her field?
She was a politician for a long time, and then she sort of molded herself into a bit of a celebrity. She did some of the reality TV things. She was also a successful author as well.
But don't forget,
okay, so she was a lay voice with professional background that people paid attention. That people didn't automatically discount what she was saying because she was a loon or a winger of any kind.
This happened shortly after Farage decided to stand down. Do you remember? Over the whole issue, over the £5 million and the security payment to him.
But all of this reinforces Farage's point that he needs private security. I mean, if you wanted to reinforce the point, you would kill Anne Widdecombe.
They wanted to eliminate some kind of support she was giving to somebody. That's what it was.
Here's a different theory. They wanted to send a message to Farage. They wanted to send a simple message. Things happen. You know, you're not
get to Farage, David.
Pardon, Jed?
Maybe they couldn't get to Farage because they knew he would have security.
But then, apparently the police have said, and Farage has intimated that he knows more about this as well. Apparently, there was images of Farage in this alleged murderer's room. So yeah, maybe Jed, it was just for the grace of God, it was Anne Widdecombe who didn't have obviously security. Nigel has security.
Right, there's pictures of Farage in the guy's room. I mean, no, there wasn't. Like, you know, if I've got issues with Nigel Farage, I'd keep that on my laptop, but even then, I wouldn't have a dossier about Farage.
But if you were basically disturbed, you might.
Yes, I know, but to go back to this point, where are the photographs of this house that has these pictures plastered all over the wall? Give us something that backs up what you're telling us. You're just firing out this narrative, and you're giving us no evidence to back any of it up. You're just asking us to believe that he had all these photographs. You're just asking us to believe that he drove 500 miles. You know,
got to stage the scene.
Well, Jill Dando, didn't they pin it on somebody who was obsessed with Jill Dando? Apparently,
yeah, they did.
All that was nonsense.
Yeah, that's right. Oh no, Antonio, there's enough reason to ask questions for definite on this one here. You know, I'm just conscious of the fact that, you know, Anne Widdecombe is dead. She seemed to have met an absolutely unbelievably savage death. That's that I do think we can say with some knowledge that is exactly what happened, because that's what the police have told the Crown Court. But everything else is questionable.
This is a police force, and this specific police force has been discredited multiple times. They've been put in special measures multiple times because they've been failing.
You're talking about Devon and Cornwall, please.
Yeah,
but been taken out of their hands. It's the counter-terrorism police that have got the case now. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Adrian.
But why was it taken out of their hands? This is the thing, because people would have said, "Oh, you're useless." And if I remember, did this chief constable not have some kind of issues as well? There's just too many things. When you add them together, 2 and 2 are not giving you 4; they're giving you 400.
Well, look, yeah. I mean, look, I'm sure we'll be returning to this one because I know this does go to court. I think in October, is it?
Do you know what? Do you know what I miss? I miss Jed saying, "Adrian, you're too far down these rabbit holes." He hasn't said it to me in about 2 months.
That's true. That's true.
Because we're all down in the same damn rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, as I said, it is.
That was the point I was going to make. Maybe I did make it last week. That it does seem to be grata for conspiracy theories here, and I'm just not sure how much we've got to go on.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing: is we're always talking conspiracy theories, but how many of the theories have we talked about that over the past couple of years we've been doing this have not been proven true?
Well, I think most of them have been. I mean, conspiracy theories
we do say conspiracy theories that we talk about come true in a couple of weeks now.
I see. The only thing is time, but on this one.
But again, here's another thing: if this guy drove 500 miles, how did he know she was going to be home at that exact moment? She could have been out. Because
that's what he was told, and he was told the front door would be open. Just pull into her driveway, and she'll be in the kitchen.
Who told him, Paddy? Who's the who in this?
You got me. Whoever wanted to send that message.
But she could have been like shopping or going there.
No, this is a hit. This was a professional hit.
I've got a conspiracy theory that this is designed to make to give Farage a message. I maintain that I'm allowed to posit the conspiracy theory that it's actually designed to make Farage look good.
Well, one or the other. It could be. There's
evil.
There's evil everywhere.
Jed, do you want to come in on that one there? Because that's interesting from Grant.
I don't think it's to make Farage look good, to be honest. I just think that the person that they wanted to go for had too much protection. So they just went down the shopping list of reform people, and hers came up, and they said, well, she lives in this cottage in Cotswolds or whatever it is, wherever she lives.
Yeah, Devon, yeah.
But it also does justify Farage's need for protection.
No, it does. But that argument, I think, is to be had, and obviously it's now being had. And there's a review on. I can't believe there's a review. Actually,
do you not think the message was sent to Farage a couple of years ago? Sorry for interrupting. With that plane crash that he had.
Well,
the plane crash. He survived. Why wouldn't they just bump him off?
Walked out, lit a cigarette, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He got out of his plane and just lit up a cigarette. But come on, it's like this one about 9/11. Like, why would they go through all the trouble of flying airplanes in when they could have just blown them up in the first place? Do you know all the one about the controlled explosions? Whatever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm very familiar.
Why not just fly the planes in? That would have been enough. But then, or the other way, just blow it up and blame Bin Laden. So this conspiracy theory about Farage, why not just kill him? I'm saying hypothetically before you get into trouble. I'm saying, why don't they just kill him instead of messages here and there? And I love a conspiracy. I love a good conspiracy theory.
Well, Adrian is normally the one down the rabbit holes, but I think Adrian has led you down those rabbit holes at the moment, Grantonio.
No. Hang on. I'm not saying that it was done to make to give Farage justification. I'm actually not on the side of the conspiracy theories on this one. I'm actually saying I love a good conspiracy theory, but planes do crash. There are unhinged leftists out there who want to bludgeon elderly women to death.
But you're right. And just on that, I mean, I think, for me on this one, and I've tried to be measured in what I've said, I think one of the big problems we have is, Grantonio, if we had more transparency from the authorities, from the police.
100%.
then that would blow away any conspiratorial stuff, because like Adrian's raised a lot of good points. The police could presumably share a bit more stuff to get us all on side, but they don't. And
it's the obfuscatory. I might have made up another word there. The obfuscatory photographs that they've released, knowing that these photographs don't look like the same people. And again, I go back to the start of what I said was it's called conspiracy bait, where they throw things out so that we can all get our knickers in a twist about how he doesn't look like this person. And maybe for a few days I thought that's not the same person. And I thought, you know what? They're going to start releasing more photographs of this guy slowly, a slow trickle, designed to make us look stupid. And I think that's the game that they're playing.
Well,
does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I do. I do get your point. Actually, Antonio, after we talked last week, I went and read James Dellingpole's Substack post on this topic, where he was suggesting that he wasn't sure one way or the other if she was even dead.
Yeah, look, I love Dellingpole. He's very entertaining, but he thinks that the Earth's flat. He thinks that
everything's
if everything's still alive.
Everything.
Yeah,
I know. Anyway, listen, it's the witch. We've gone past the witching hour, 9:00. We're going to move on to Gary Lineker now, actually. But before we do that,
another sponsors, David. Come on, get your money out. Give us your money.
Give us your bleeping money if you want this stuff to carry on. Do us a favor.
Do you know who
got to pick a pocket or two?
When Sir Bob Geldof said that, give us your effing money. Do you know who he was sat next to? Little pub trivia question.
Oh, well, it was obviously Live Aid Day.
Yeah, it was Live Aid, but who was the specific person that he was sat next to when he said it?
Oh, God, you got me. And I should know.
It's kind of interesting because it kind of makes sense as to why he was swearing. If I tell you the 80s and comedy.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you. He was sat next to Sir Billy Connolly. And there's, you're just wondering.
Benny Hill?
No, Billy Connolly.
Sir Billy Connolly's presence that made him start effing and jeffing, if you know what I mean.
Give us your Well, anyway, anyone wants to give me a coffee? It's up on screen. The link's there. Go to buy me a coffee over at the link, and thank you to those of you who do that. By the way, do appreciate that. Right, we're going to talk about. We've talked about somber stuff there. Let's talk about the absolutely risible Gary Lineker, because today, apparently, Gary Lineker, the millionaire lefty footballer, former footballer and lefty, he sent an open letter to Andy Burnham, and it was signed by several other lefties, like the Scottish author, it's really awful, Val
McDermott.
Did you see?
And Rent Boys Economics. What's his name? Rent Boys Economics.
Yeah,
the guy that looks like a rent boy. Rent Boys Economics.
Gary Stevenson.
That's it, Adrian. Yeah. Gary Stevenson.
Rent Boys Economics.
And also the guy who wrote Four Weddings and a Funeral, the author
Curtis. Tony.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Richard Curtis.
Yeah, that's right, Adrian. So a bunch of these 100 lefty millionaires have sent a letter to Andy Burnham pleading with him to tax them. They can afford it. Just tax us more, they said. And, I'll invite everybody's opinion.
Well, I've no doubt that they've got offshore accounts that will help alleviate the tax burden. But the other thing is, but isn't this the hypocrisy of socialism? I mean, maybe they should all just give money to charity instead. If there's something close to Gary Lineker's heart or Rent Boys Economics' heart, give that money to that charity, do it privately, and don't ask other people don't subsidize other people's, I don't know, whatever the taxes go on.
But you see, Antonio, when it comes to tax, you can't just say, oh yeah, we'll have a tax just for these 100 lefty millionaires. You have to change the tax laws, which then apply to everybody in the defined category group.
Exactly. These lefty millionaires, whatever.
If you're in New York, you can write a tax bill just for the billionaires. That can be done. Don't say that can't be done. You do that all the time over here.
But we're in the UK, Paddy, so it's not the same.
Okay. Here's the other thing. Okay, in the United States, anybody can write a check for whatever amount of money they want and just give it to the IRS. Can't they just do that? You want to pay extra? Where's the check? Write a check and just give it to the government.
100%. If they want to pay more, knock yourselves out. But did you see the interview that, or I don't know what you'd call it, the exchange between Rent Boys Economics and an actual economist last week? Did you see that?
I laughed at it. Yeah,
hilarious. That was almost as funny as somebody shouting wanker to Farage and then finding out about it for the rest of her life. Rent Boys Economics is clueless.
Yeah, I mean, Jed, what did you reckon to this whole business of these lefty millionaires pleading, absolutely begging Burnham to tax them more because they can afford it?
It's typical, isn't it? Because when you're a multi-millionaire, you can afford to do that. Of course you can. Because you're a multi-millionaire. So, a few $100,000 here or 500,000 there is neither here nor there. It's pocket money. It's loose change in the pockets. But the thing is, anybody, as Paddy says, we can do in the UK, you can voluntarily give additional taxation. And all you have to do is fill out the form or go on to your tax affairs online, and you can give more money. The HMRC will love it because they'll stop coming hunting for money off me, I think, because my taxes are due. But I just think it's virtue signaling at its highest by the people that can afford to virtue signal. The rest of us just simply can't afford the taxation that we're already paying. I mean, fuel is still skyrocket high. Energy costs are through the roof. I mean, God alone, I'm having to beat British Gas about by the head to stop them turning my smart meter on when I only said I'll have a smart meter if it's turned off. And every 2 months, I get a bloody, the engineer is coming to visit you on such a day. I ring them and they say, all right, we'll cancel that. Then I get a text message the day before, your engineer's coming. So I just think that Lineker and his ilk just really wind me up because it's so easy when you've got so much money. Bear in mind, Lineker's money has come from us through the license fee to splash it out like they do when the rest of us are groveling around for half a penny here and a penny there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the price of penny chews, the bloody 10p now.
The other thing, Jed, is that's a good point, Jed, because these millionaires, none of them are businessmen or women, are they? I mean, Rent Boys Economics, I don't think has a business. Gary Lineker doesn't have a business. I don't think Val McDermott owns her own publishing company.
Lineker does. Lineker has multiple podcasts that he now has football, politics, all that he's making money from.
But but he's not a natural businessman. This isn't something that's happened organically. He hasn't worked from the bottom.
No. But the bigger picture is here, right? So Lineker had a £4.9 million payoff from the BBC, and he had a fallen out with HMRC over the tax bill that he got from that. So as Jed said, this is virtue signalling. This is them trying to encourage the Labour government to bring in a new tax code for millionaires because it's not them, it's the businessmen. So those who are helping drive the economy, those who are running big companies all over the UK employing thousands of people, they're the ones that are going to be hit too. They're the ones that are ultimately going to leave. They're the ones that are going to withdraw the business services from the economy. So it's not just the matter of Lineker paying an extra £500,000 a year. There are thousands of millionaires and billionaires in this country who will then start to be taxed more, who will then think, so this, I'm going to Monaco, I'm going here, there and everywhere where I can get away. And the Treasury will end up losing more money in the long run because of virtue signalling. And that's all it is. Remember, this is the guy that wanted migrants brought into the country and then had one living with him and then kicked him out because he couldn't handle it.
Yep. I just want to say that.
But is that true? That
what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it is an interesting one regarding Gary Lineker. I was just going to say, the point I wanted to make, and then we're going to move on, is that the last time the government which happened under Labour previously, they brought the top rate of tax up to 50%. You might remember that. And when they did that, guess what happened? From 40% it went up to 50%. They brought in less tax because all smart, wealthy individuals will then take corrective action and the tax take goes down. In other words,
I saw an article the other day, sorry for interrupting, a guy retired at 57 because he thought, what's the point of working anymore to pay all these taxes? He was already wealthy enough, but he's now stopping providing goods and services for this country 10 years earlier than what he was expected to, because he's losing too much in tax. And other people will start to do the same. And as I said, many people will start to leave the country if they're going to get taxed even more.
Well, maybe when they leave the country, maybe they'll go to Iran. And this is the next one I want to rattle by you, because this is now, I put this was a tweet I put up there on screen. Iranians don't want war. They don't want blackouts. They don't fear no money. They fear a permanent ceasefire. Well, that permanent ceasefire seems to have gone up in smoke, along with J.D. Vance's stupid memo of understanding, because tonight, I think, is going to be the 12th successive night, maybe more, of sustained, pretty heavy U.S. barrage on Iran. Paddy, come to you in this one first. You talked about the fact that, we thought that Trump was basically going to park this one until after the midterms, but actually, Paddy, it doesn't look like that now. I mean, these attacks are pretty severe, and I don't really know where this one's going to go, Paddy.
It's going to go until it's done. It's going to go until it's done. The whole thing you got to realize about the left has a fit over the war. The right wing, the Trump's base and Trump's support love this. The more he bombs, the more his base cheers. We know that the bombing's got to continue until this group that's in power are gone. And Trump keeps saying, "I'll stop if you make this deal," and he puts it on. He gave them complete control of the straits. And all they had to do was stop shooting. Next day, they shot a ship. Okay, well, it's over. Now we get to bomb you again. And this is going on. And this is going to continue until it's done.
But Paddy, okay, I'm going to push back yet a wee bit on this one. Because the bombings commenced again, I was checking the oil price there today on the international market. Oil is back up to over $100 a barrel, which means that for you guys in the States, your price at the pumps as well as our price at the pumps.
Okay, here's a fact, and here's a fact, and here's something that that is not being carried by the mainstream, but it's being carried by if you look under more conservative news outlets and everything else. A simple point has been made. All right, gas right now in the United States is between $4 and $4.50 a gallon. We're in the middle of a war. In the Middle East, gasoline under Joe Biden reached $5.19 a gallon. There was no war. There was no shortage. It was just the Democrats punishing you because you drove a gasoline automobile. The price of gas is becoming less and less of a factor. The removal of this regime is the thing, and we have to do it without saying we're removing the regime.
Yeah, I mean, like Jed is up on screen. I mean, this is my line, and this is finish the job. But I just think, Paddy,
he is. It's just very slow, very steady. I'm trying everything to get these people to talk, and at the same time too, we're gonna bomb the hell out of them until they're gone. And now it's starting to be the point. Now it's reached the point where it's like, okay, we've reached the point now where we're gonna start bombing. We're going to affect the people some because we're going to start taking out some power plants and bridges in Tehran. And we're going for the full infrastructure. We did just the military, and you still kept offering you everything you wanted, and you still kept fighting. So, but now we're going to have to take out some civilian structures too.
Paddy, do you think J.D. Vance is feeling a bit sad these days? Is he sad?
J.D. Vance has watched his prospects go down the toilet so bad in the last 4 months. And it's going to be the fight is between him, Cruz, and Rubio. And Rubio's walking away with everything. If Vance can't beat Rubio, and Cruz can't win. You know, as much as I'm a Cruz supporter. I pushed for Cruz up until Cruz was the last man standing against Trump in 2016, and I was with him. You know, but and I'm glad Trump won. But but I still support Cruz. But at the same time, too, Rubio's got my vote. He's got 90% of the base's vote. It's just whether or not he chooses to go for it. If he chooses to take it, it's his.
But I mean, J.D. Vance is the favorite son. He is Trump's chosen vice president.
He worked. He helped to get Trump back in office with an overwhelming landslide, and that's everything. He served his purpose. He did his job, but he's proven himself. See, this is a country that the people who on the right don't buy slogans; they watch your actions. And his actions and his behavior since the thing is what's being watched, and he's blown it. He's blown it.
Does anyone else want to jump in this one? I know it's very US focused, but I'm interested in all things. Adrian, any thoughts on what's happening with Trump 12 nights?
Can I say something for 1 second?
Yeah.
Let me say what I'm going to say one thing more. It's because it's U.S. focused. The only focus that matters in the world is U.S. focus. The rest of you are just bystanders. Never forget that.
Right, Paddy's now been banned for life. Adrian, do you want to come in now?
Yeah, look, I said this at the very start. Look, when you topple a regime, there's always a power vacuum, and you'll have plenty of people trying to take over. And there's many different regimes or factions, should we say, in Iran, that are fighting for power here. Again, we're not privy to everything, and I know the optics don't look good at the minute, but again, I would just let it cook, let it play out. We've got the Iranians threatening British targets today and whatnot.
They have, that's a fair point. Yeah.
The headline, Adrian, the headline in the Daily Mail, Trump readies devastating massive attack on Iran that will be bigger than ever before.
Look, I still think...
Have we heard that for about 4 months now?
Yeah, but I still think the overriding issue about Iran is to do with the uranium-1, the nuclear dust that he keeps talking about. Because this links back to the uranium-1 deal that Clinton signed. There's a much bigger picture here that we're not really paying attention to, and we're focusing on one small aspect of it. And I get that, with the thousands of Iranians that lost their lives during the protests at the start of the year. I understand that was horrible.
52,000, yeah.
Yeah.
1,000, yeah.
But there's a much bigger picture. We're not privy to everything, and I'm just going to let him cook on this because, look at North Korea. Nobody expected a deal there. North Korea came to the table. There's been no trouble out of them. The fact that Russia, China haven't stepped into this war and backed Iran. There's so many things that just make me think we're not seeing everything, because they were Iran's biggest supporters for decades, and they haven't opened their mouths.
No, they haven't opened their mouths, but there's a lot of suspicion, Adrian, that China in particular is feeding Iran intelligence so that when they attack the Gulf states where the US bases are, that those attacks.
Did you see?
I think, Paddy, 4 Americans have been killed.
But he was in Beijing there a few months ago with Xi. I think he's going to meet him again pretty soon. Would China disrupt that? I don't know. I think there's much more to this that we're not understanding, to be honest.
Well, okay, here's one people might want to have an opinion on. Yesterday, the US came up with this fantastic idea that they want to give Saudi Arabia domestic nuclear power. Now, given they're an incredibly oil-rich nation, they don't need nuclear power. So what's that about? Anyone? Any thoughts?
It's a card on the table. There's no need for it. It's what it is to get Saudi Arabia to sign the deal with Israel. We got to balance you out. Is this what you're saying? They put it on the table, and it's one of those things that I'd be shocked if it ever takes place. But this is a negotiation. This is part of the background. The Abraham Accords negotiations are still going on. They're still aligning countries to stand down from Israel.
Don't forget, where did Saudi Arabia get their power from? The petrodollar, right? Remember, Nixon took the US off the gold standard in the 70s, and then was all based against the price of oil. I remember as a kid growing up in the 80s, every day at the end of the news, it was the price of a barrel of oil rose by 5%, fell by 10%, because that's what the economy was based on. And the whole point is trying to destroy that petrodollar system to be able to destroy the fiat currency system. That's what I think he is trying to move Saudi Arabia away from with the petrodollar and the oil. And I think that's why nuclear power is playing into it. Paddy, I don't know if you
Yeah,
Would agree.
Yeah,
that's
definitely. The whole thing with the petrodollar, and then what was the dollar they started? The other one, the other market they were trying to start with the purchase of oil. The whole world's economy is based on oil. We took it. Nixon took it off the gold standard, put it on the oil standard. Did it with Saudi Arabia, made them part of it, made them most favored nation, because basically that's. They were the number one controller of oil at that time, and that's the bank. That's the world's bank is oil.
Saudi Arabia's payoff for that was being able to access billions of dollars of US weapons.
Exactly. Now, there's been rumors. The other rumor is that Trump is getting ready to pull the world, the U.S. off the petrodollar and put it back on the gold standard. I don't see that happen, but it's a rumor that I've heard, because gold's almost at the price where it'll be worth doing it.
That's the point I was making, that because Saudi Arabia gained so much power from the petrodollar, and they were always had that US guarantee, he is trying to destroy that system and trying to take Saudi Arabia away from that. And that's possibly why the nuclear power is coming in. Plus,
hang on, Adrian, if they get nuclear power, you know, for domestic purposes, you know what they're going to want. They're going to try and get a nuclear weapon as well. And I'm afraid you can't have the Saudi regime with nuclear weapons. You just can't. It's impossible.
But Pakistan have it.
Saudis are safer than a lot of other nations. Yeah, Pakistan has it, Turkey has it, and the Iranians have it. I'd rather have the Saudis only want it because the Jews have it.
Yeah, but hang on. Just because they have it doesn't mean we want there for more people to have it. That's
but it's they're still living under the mutually assured destruction philosophy, which it still rules keeps the peace between Russia and China, and us, and China and us.
See, when we look at oil, look at Trump's done, right? So he secured South America and Central America with oil. He's now trying to secure the Middle East with the oil. He's also done it with Malaysia in the Far East. I think this is him actually controlling the chessboard, to be brutally honest.
Well, listen, I'm conscious. I just want to finish off. I actually want to get all the topics in for the last couple of minutes. For Jed and Grantonio, you've been very quiet there in the last 5-10 minutes. So I hope you're still
you're
okay.
all right, buddy. You crack on.
I want to finish talking about someone we referenced earlier, and that is the lovely, fragrant successor to Ed Miliband as our beloved Energy Secretary. Patty mentioned her earlier as well, and that is a woman called Miatta Funbula, who she's achieved the impossible. Here she is. Look at that lovely.
Great sound of British name there, isn't it?
You couldn't get. I mean, okay, she may be Liberian. I mean, okay, Adrian, but you're splitting hairs.
I was going for East End London there with that kind of name.
She's as British as can be. Obviously, I mean, she went to a private school at £40,000 a year here in the UK, and our Miatta has achieved the impossible. She is even further to the left than Ed Miliband, she was a protege of Ed Miliband, and now she's gotten into energy. Does anyone think we're going to actually drill in the North Sea? Because if we don't, we are doomed. Does anyone think we're, apart from...
No, that was the point. I thought Trump put something out a few days ago about how Burnham was going to get back to drilling for oil in the North Sea.
He did, but he was trolling. He was trolling him.
We know he was trolling, but do you not think it would have been better if he'd said something like, "I'm really glad that Burnham's going to solve the migrant crisis," and stuff like that. But it was very interesting. So no, I don't know anything. I don't even know who she is.
Oh, she's mad. She's totally mad. She's a Marxist.
Okay. Wait, hang on. She's madder than Ed. Mad Ed.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's worse than him.
I know that he's got a convicted fraudster into a high position. So do you know what I mean? They'll never be able to use that phrase to describe Farage anymore. Or Farage, what was his name? That Farage, Posh George or whatever.
Posh George
with convicted fraudster, Posh George. Yeah. It's like when they use Tommy Robinson's name and they always say real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon. It's like, all right, I don't know why you keep saying that. There's other people that you could put their real names forward.
But the lefties have been saying, because a lot of us this week have talked about convicted fraudster Louise Hay, who's another one of these awful northern women.
That's the one I meant.
That's the one. But But there's been a whole thing on X telling us, no, look, just give her a chance. Stop. She had a conviction. It was 2014. That could happen to anyone. But here's the thing. Tommy Robinson gets hammered. Oh, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon. English Defence Force and all that, and Porsche George and all that. So they're never given any sort of space. And then this Louise Hay. Apparently it's hateful if you call her a convicted fraudster, which is a matter of observable fact. She is. But Miatta, Adrian, come to you. I'll just wrap this up very quick. Miatta Finbula, does she inspire you with confidence, having seen and heard what I've said?
No, there's none of that new government does at all. But don't forget the gas and oil and energy thing was the stick that Trump used to beat Stormer, Sturgeon. Now you'll use it to beat Burnham with too.
Hope so.
I think Miatta Funbulla gives energy secretaries a bad name.
If you're willing to lie and commit fraud over a mobile phone, what other lengths will you go to now that you're in high power?
Just to put in, she didn't. It was Louise Hay that did that.
Sorry. That's who I was referring to about the phone.
Yeah.
But if you're now in high government and you were willing to do that, what would you be willing to do now?
Absolutely. Well, listen, we have arrived at the end.
Because there's no punishment. Because look at Angela Rayner. She's back in the fold now after her misdemeanor.
Yeah, the Red Queen.
Isn't she the housing secretary?
Yes, for extra laugh. Yeah. I mean, I honestly do think, Antonio, I think the government trolls us. It absolutely trolls us. And what we need to do here week in, week out is troll them back and hold them to account. And we've had a damn good effort of doing that tonight. So listen, I want to get this one wrapped up on time. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Antonio, Adrian, Paddy, and Jed for being with me in the studio tonight. And hope everyone's enjoyed this. If you're listening to this in replay, I hope you enjoy it as well. And the final thing, if you want to support me, if you actually do want to make a contribution, as I know some of you do, then buy me a coffee. The link's below. That's it from us for tonight. But I will be back with a live show on Monday night. Join that. I got a really interesting guest and another one on Wednesday night. So a lot of stuff happening next week. You'll hear all about it between now and then. But from all the gang and myself, it's good night.